the exclusions rate for some of the early academies, the London academies, for example, are extraordinary. One academy, 28.36%. It had 319 pupils excluded when it was set up. Another academy, 26.65%, 20.78% in another, and 20.14% in another academy, and that's quite common. To the extent that both the Schools Commissioner and the DCSF are absolutely upfront, and they say we support heads in using fixed period and even permanent exclusions to turn their schools around. Well, that in a sense, and we are very strong on protecting our members from unacceptable pupil behaviour, but it is gone way beyond that. It's a mechanism for cranking up the results and getting an artificial first hit in terms of kind of results after the first year of establishment. We then move on to the changes to the curriculum, and I have to say we've just submitted evidence to the House of Commons Select Committee's inquiry into the curriculum, and it really is striking. What was the national curriculum supposed to be for? And Michael Barber, head of the delivery unit, and at number 10, only a year or so back, saying that the national curriculum was a baseline of entitlement. Now it's considered to be a stone attached to your foot, collected at academies level, and that you can't wait to get away from it. It is either an entitlement for all, or it's about having an exclusivist approach to the curriculum for individual schools outside that. Now, I think, bearing in mind Kevin's implication that all of you, in a sense, need to have a bit of a contribution to this debate, I just want to highlight something before I move on to some, in a sense, reflection on policies. I think it has been a real disappointment, as Ken said, and a mistake for the Brown government to try and shoot the Conservative Party fox over academies. What they've done, of course, is to demonstrate in speeding up the number of academies, as Ed Balls did recently, to meet the 400 target. The intention is to keep the Conservative front bench quiet on the basis of trying to ward off accusations that they're going soft on local authorities in inverted commas. What the effect of that has been to do is to create a tail wagging the dog situation with Lord Adonis, because it means that he can do what he wants in that situation. He actually sets policy for the Secretary of State, not the Secretary of State, setting policy for a parliamentary undersecretary. And he's got the complete freedom to do what he likes and to describe academies as a reform which is alive, well, and accelerating. I do think, however, that what is absolutely vital is for us to have a set of policy alternatives, certainly working towards the next election, focusing on a social agenda, a community cohesion agenda, a children's agenda, a democratic and a local democratic agenda, and an equity of high standards agenda. And that's why we have published a set of policy documents which focus on returning academies to maintain status, halting the expansion of academies programme, and urgently evaluating the evidence of how schools in very challenging circumstances can be helped to make a difference to pupils' life chances, and only go and have a look at Phoenix School in Hammersmith and Fulham, William Atkinson School, to know how to do it properly, and to create locally accountable comprehensive education provision, and to legislate for all state-funded schools to be part of their local authorities' admissions arrangements. And the way that is done, and the way that should be done, is to have a proactive conception about what locally accountable, democratic, comprehensive provision should be. I have to say I despair of some local authorities. I have to say actually the NUT and all of you out there are better defenders of local authorities sometimes than local authorities themselves. And that means that we have to have a conception of how to enhance democracy on the basis of the Every Child Matters agenda, and on the basis of the children's agenda, and on the basis of the social agenda. And that's why we've called, for example, for children's services forums at local authority level, linking schools together. That's why we have called, for example, for a consideration of removing the anti-democratic trend within hard federations for the narrowing down to a small professionalist rump of governors and for the examination of democratically elected school boards, for example. That's why we call, for instance, for school forums to be responsible for admission procedures and validated and confirmed by local authorities. And I'll leave you just one last thought. I looked at Ed Balls' speech yesterday to the ACSL conference, and I saw this line in here and my heart leapt with joy, and it said, parents want every local school to be a good school. I thought, my God, he's adopted the NUT slogan. This is absolutely wonderful. And then he said inspiringly that there is only one long-term route to truly fair admissions. And I thought, not only has he adopted our slogan, but he's actually found the Holy Grail. And then I look over the page, and then I see that it's about collaboration with trusts, federations of academies, etc., etc. I have to say that the furore this week over admissions is as a direct result of the fragmentation and deconstruction of the local community of schools. And there is a massive and creative and positive policy challenge for us all to return to the community their schools. Thank you, Kevin.